o marae. Well, Vietnam vet and Anglican priest Wally Te'ua is on his last mission. He's fighting government and veteran affairs in the Wellington High Court tomorrow. Wally wants a judicial review of the operational performance of veteran affairs and claims for breach of statutory duty and negligence. Reporter Carmen Parahi with this exclusive.
This is my duty, my honour, my mana. The war for many of us is not over. It'll never be over. You can see them all with their gear, all sitting down, waiting.
The memories of war are everywhere in Wally Te'ua's home in Gisborne.
I'm going to say the war hasn't finished. In our minds and in our bodies, it hasn't finished.
He was a soldier for 3 tours of duty in Vietnam and served as an army padre twice in later years. His son Te Whetū joined the army against his parents' advice. Wally and wife Lynette advocate for other veterans, their wives and families.
I'm the wife of a Vietnam veteran and the mother of an Afghanistan veteran. Same problems, different wars. I would recommend now anybody in New Zealand, if you've got a grandchild, nephew, niece, anyone, don't send them to the armed services. Why? They're not going to get looked after they finish their deployments. I've got the legacy of it in this household. I don't want that for anyone. I don't want anyone to have the same level of pain that we have.
Wally says he was naive when he enlisted in 1967.
Yeah, it seemed like a good idea. Free travel, free clothes, free clay. Yeah, lots of opportunities to see the world. That's the reason I went.
Wally knew he risked injury or death during the conflict, but didn't know he'd be paying for his service years after the war ended because of Agent Orange and other chemical defoliants.
I can remember one time we were out and a plane flew over us, and not long after that this fine sort of spray come down through the trees, and it was quite smelly like kerosene, but of course we didn't realise what it was, but we do now. We were never told in our preparation that we were most likely going to be operating in areas where toxic chemicals were going to be used. So we were completely unprepared for it.
All out now! All out!
Vietnam veterans were vilified by the public and shunned by other war veterans. Their pleas to the government to help them with their military service-related health issues were ignored for decades. Do you regret going to Vietnam?
Yes, I do. Now I do, because I can see what the legacy of going there, the cost is too high. That our whakapapa has been polluted because of our service. So the cost is too high.
The committee accepted that New Zealand Vietnam veterans were exposed to a very toxic environment.
This admission took over 30 years. It was an unjust delay that cost many veterans and their families the medical help and financial support they desperately needed.
The Crown extends to New Zealand Vietnam veterans and their families an apology for the manner in which their loyal service in the name of New Zealand was not recognised as it should have been.
The apology to Vietnam veterans was also seen as a promise to all veterans and their families. They could expect better care from the government.
I'd simply ask for your forgiveness for our shortcomings in the past.
Governor-General Jerry Mateparae was the Defence Force chief when he made this plea. He assured veterans easier access to funds distributed by Veterans Affairs. Wally believes nothing's changed for veterans and they're not being helped enough.
I'm concerned that they haven't listened in the past. They're not listening now. Will they listen in the future? The only way I know to test that is by litigation.
Wally is dying from prostate cancer, a hallmark of his Vietnam service. Any day could be his last. Wally and Lynette claim they had to fight Veterans Affairs to get any help from them. Fed up, they moved their conflict to the High Court. How hard is this?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for him. But I have to hold it together for the rest of us, for the rest of our family. Even going to the High Court is, I didn't want him to do that because of the stress. He's a good man, but he's affected by Vietnam, yeah, and I know that going to the court's going to be a hard thing for us to do.
Wally and Lynette believe their personal court battle with the government is on behalf of all veterans.
I want all of those wives and families' voices heard, and I know many of them can't speak for themselves, but I can. You know, we could be elsewhere. We wouldn't have had to mortgage our house to pay for the legal costs, but that's how serious we feel about this particular issue, is that I want those voices heard.
During filming, veterans and supporters arrived to back up their mate. Wally's comrades are disheartened. They feel the government's apology was an empty promise. It's still difficult for them to get financial aid from Veterans Affairs.
It's a battle for most of them. I don't think there's any of our fellows that haven't had problems trying to prove that what's wrong with them, cancers or otherwise, was caused by their exposure to the toxic environment that they were in.
Veterans' families are also voicing their concerns about the ongoing battle with the government for help.
These guys have put their lives on the line in the past, they've come back, they're still putting their lives on the line with this illness. They haven't got any time for political posing.
Well, I put in a few of my sicknesses. I put them on paper and sent it to Veterans Affairs, and a lot of them being rejected, declined.
And you're supportive of Wally taking this battle to court?
Yes, we're soldiers side by side, and the battle still goes on side by side.
That is a good one.
These are New Zealand boys?
Those are our boys getting ready to go out into the bush.
Wally's given up his fight with cancer, but will go one last round in the High Court for his brothers.
Well, this will be the last, I think. This bitch of a bloody battle with the government. I'll have to do this. What the results are, I don't know. But all I know is that I'm driven to try and make a difference. And I'll be quite happy to know that my life counted for something.
Well, we asked Veterans Affairs to comment on the court case and to discuss the veterans' issues, but they declined. The Minister of Veterans Affairs, Michael Woodhouse, sent a statement saying he's confident Veterans Affairs New Zealand continues to act in the best interests of those it serves. New Zealand Ex-Vietnam Services Association President John Deasley said Veterans Affairs does a good job in helping all veterans and accepts that some instances do cause concern. And Don McIver, RSA National President, says they're concerned that Walter Te Ua and his partner have considered it necessary to take a civil case at some personal cost. In fact, quite a huge personal cost.